All right, guys. Sadly, I have to make this video. The market volatility is back. If you bought calls, you got crushed. I got crushed on a lot of calls. I got some puts. Hopefully, they do work tomorrow, but we don't know what's going to happen. That's the definition of volatility. So get ready, guys. I hope you're prepared. I want to talk about what's going on. Kind of a continuation from last week. We've had a crazy, crazy week so far. We had one of the biggest drops 4 or 5 days ago in market history in a while. Big drop comes back up, huge 600 point update. We start this week off some up and down yesterday, and then now this big. I think we almost touched down 500 points at one point, but now we're here and there's a lot of questions. So I want to talk about what happened in the market, what caused this. We're going to talk about some of this stuff going on in the world because that's really what's happening. Earnings are occurring and it seems like a lot of things are outweighing it, which is very, very surprising. This is cool stuff to take note of. Like I said, go watch my last video. Exciting time. There's exciting stuff going on. So I'm really excited to share it with you guys. But we're going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how I plan to move forward with some of this, how I kind of want to play it or what I'm eyeballing or looking at. And then talk about, did we enter a bear market and, or is this a correction? And that's kind of in line with how I think I'm going to be going about playing this. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens, but it'll be good. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I got a lot of new people from one of the last videos. So, we have stock videos. We talk about the economics. It's a mix of stuff. But if you like this video, helps out, definitely drop a comment. I'd love your guys' input on it. It's good to hear where your guys' heads at and, experience levels. Because like I said, this stuff, it's not technical. It's not looking at charts or anything. It's seeing what's going on. So even getting into it, we saw that big down day. People wanted to blame the Federal Reserve. Rates were moving, and we also had China. So it seems since then the rates have kind of dissipated. That hasn't been the issue. We haven't seen too much of those movements here. We did see, which a lot of people are ignoring, which I think is having some effect. It's just not helping. I think if the market was better, it wouldn't really have an effect. But mixed in with everything else kind of going sideways, this isn't good. But Italy and what's going on with Italy and their budget, the deficit, that's not doing good right now. The spread on Italian bonds isn't doing good. It's hurting the euro. There was even some comments at that budget meeting they had today with the EU. So that's one thing that's occurring. I think right now that's kind of a small effect. That's not the biggest. Going to the biggest, we're jumping around here, but to the biggest thing, I think right now that's why we're seeing the market down. I think today it is because of Saudi Arabia and the news we heard from there and kind of the potential effect. I think that's part of it. I think 50% that and 50%, and I really want to say this is the main thing and the biggest reason, it is China. And China has already been coming down. Even when we bounced, it dropped another percent, then dropped another 2% and another 2%. It's really dying. And even then, their currency is going down a lot and they weaken. So let's go to today and what kind of happened. A lot of things happened. So with China, essentially, first it started with yesterday they got labeled not as a currency manipulator. There was a Treasury report, and the day before that, when there was the huge run up, Mnuchin talked about it. Stephen Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, and it was good works. Then the official report came out. It was great for China. The currency even strengthened a little bit. And it was all around. People thought it was good. And then right after that, today, we see them fix the yuan weaker. And this means something, like I said in another video, them weakening is showing signs of a weakening economy. I might make a video just talking about China and my theories on it and going deep into it. But, that is showing their economy's weaker. Their markets are dropping at the same time. And them fixing it is, well, I think it's in their benefit and they want to for the sake of their economy. But the thing is now that report was supposed to be positive, but the fact it was the Chinese took it as, well, if they're not a currency manipulator, they have a lot more room to weaken. And that's what we're seeing. But overall, I think weakness in the Chinese economy in general. And even when we look at the Chinese stocks, like from Alibaba to JD, which a lot of these, I'm just surprised that they've still just been dying, despite any sort of bounce or anything, but they really haven't been showing that bounce. Wait, that's why. Where's why? There you go. Yeah, see, YY got killed today. But there is a lot of things within, even this market. I'll even talk with options. And like I said, how to play this, you got to be careful. But finishing kind of what else happened today, there was Mnuchin talked about Saudi Arabia. I think more stuff came out, and pretty much he said he's not going to go to the investment summit in Saudi Arabia. Pretty much tensions between Saudi Arabia and the U.S. are coming to light, and that is a problem both economically, politically, mixed in with everything else. I think Russia is going to get into the picture, so mark my words on that. I don't think we've heard from them in a while, and I think they're about to come up on the scene. We saw something today, even after hours, happen with Brazil. I'm not going to talk too much about that. I think that's just one of those smaller, but again, not good right now things. But the issues now with Saudi Arabia is not good politically, not good for oil, not good for the economics for a lot of things. They're a really good ally and trade partner, both in financial markets and in commodities and oil energy. So it's interesting to see that play out. And now the thing I got from it, though, which solidifies my reasoning China is going down more, is because there was, stockpiles of oil growth and reports, or oil supply. And it seems like some reports came out that weakened demand in China has led to, oil pretty much had a really bad day. And now with this news in Saudi Arabia, you would think this would actually make oil go up because it would create tensions between oil. And that's usually what happens to oil, throughout history. So for it to go down, it's kind of showing that China is weighing a little more. So that's all what happened today. Yesterday was, it was a mix of different stuff along these lines. But again, China didn't help. It's not like China had a good day or anything like that. So we're moving into this. So how am I going to play this? That is the now, $1 million question. I think it's a great opportunity. And it answers the question, is this a bear market or this question is it a bear market or correction? I'm putting money on a correction. I hope it's a correction, so I'm biased here. And what I mean by that is that in the next, 3 to 6 months, I think the market will return to where it was trading at, and with a slighter gain, or make gains, monthly, at a pretty decent pace. So I believe in it, and I say that just because I think the economy is good. And now I think that unless there's some external shock, if something happens to oil, if China's economy crashes, and that creates a domino effect of bad loans and stuff like that, we can't control that. And that is stuff, honestly, that would be out of the hands of who gives a shit what bonds are doing or anything. If China dropped today or tomorrow, we wake up and their markets are down and people can't pay loans, and it creates this massive, exodus of China and wealth, that pretty much what we had in 08, but in China, then we could have a problem, and that could cause the market. But I think we would eventually bounce from that. So, but that's the thing. I think we have a ways down. I think in the near term, and that's the thing. Do I know? I say 3 to 6 months out, and this is where you have to be careful playing with options. I'm even saying I'm thinking of picking up shares here, not really an options play, just because the timing with options will murder you here. And but can you still do it? Yes, just make sure you're getting time on your options. That's really all you got to do. Get time on the options, and 3, 6 months, maybe even a year out, and watch what those could do for you, because that is the time frame that we're working on here. And that's really what I think is, the best. Could it happen faster, shorter, in a 1 to 3 month period? I think that's more than possible, and I would love for that to happen. But at the same time, you got to be careful. Like we said, if an external shock came in, like China or anything else, who knows, Russia, Saudi Arabia, this really wouldn't be that good. So I'm going to see what's going to happen. Again, I think tomorrow we're going to get a big day, unless there's any positive news, but it's really a toss up. And that's the definition of volatility. And this is the problem everybody's having now. This is how investors feel. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one with a lot of money. People with a little money, you can't really put your finger on what's going to happen tomorrow. You can't even put your finger on if it's going to move a little bit or a lot, or if it's going to move 500 points, 700 points. You were down 500, closed down 300. This is volatility, and this is going to mess with options, and it's also going to create opportunity, which is exciting. But that's what you got to be careful for. Protect yourself, and make sure you guys are ready to take advantage of this stuff. That's the easiest way to put it. But this is how people feel in the market. So we're going to see what's going to happen. And, a situation could develop here quickly, as well as reverse just as quickly. So you got to be set up on both sides and take advantage of things. I'm trying to, I'm playing puts, I'm playing calls, aiming long-term calls. I'm trying to identify short-term puts, even some short-term calls, but certain companies even coming into earnings, if I could buy stuff at the very, very lowest price, I'm buying. It just sucks because in this sort of volatility with these big market moves, you are seeing some prices fall through the floor on options, but even then, you using some of the same rules, just a little bit more intense, but you could still pull it off. But I'll leave it there. Good luck trading tomorrow. Be safe. Paper trade, pull out if you don't know what you're doing, if you're getting crushed, or you could make some small bets. I'm going to make a video on that. I think I have a video coming up you guys will like, so I'll just wait. I have a great trade for you guys to make, easy, small accounts. So that's my gift to you. But I love y'all. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, stay in school. Peace out.